Hey kids, welcome to Glen's Model Emporium. Just giving you an update on what I'm working on. Quite a few, probably about 10 of them. I appreciate all those that are watching my videos and watching my pictures on this fun hobby that I've gotten back into after quite a few years of being away from. Oops, sorry. Try and get this camera kind of stable with my shaky hands. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. A little bit tedious, some of the things that I'm working on, but for the most part it's been a lot of fun revisiting my old model collection. The videos and pictures do not even touch the surface of the models that I have built. A lot of them are in storage from years of building them since I was a kid. There are a lot more. Like I say, I think I've mentioned in posts, probably 200 models built and unbuilt. They're stored in plastic totes, and some of them are still mint, sealed in box, some dating back to the late 60s. Anyways, we're working on my paddy wagon. One thing about model cars, they fall apart once in a while. So the Q-tip is actually holding a part in place while the glue sets. This one's ready to go back on the shelf. Give it a little bit of cleaning. We have another paddy wagon here. This one we're going to rat rod that one a little bit differently. This is a Corvette I found in one of my boxes. We're just going to clean it up. That's an old build. We have this stock car, which is an early 70s MPC model. These are highly collectible now, in mint and box. Mine are built, so there's no real value. But if you had a mint one in box sealed, you're probably, to buy it, you're probably looking at $200. I personally don't think they were that great of a model kit, but because this was in the heyday of NASCAR in the 70s with the Dodge Superbirds and high horsepower engines and stuff. They're highly collectible for that reason. We are working on a big scale Ford van. This one was one I built when I was a kid. It was in the stripper for 2 days. And got the old paint off. The windshield would not come out, so rather than break the windshield, I masked it to prime it. We will sand the windshield down and coat it with a clear, and it actually makes them look fairly new compared to what it is. The nice thing about stripping the paint off these old models is all the emblems and door definitions and lines, they come right back out. When you paint them a few times with a brush when you're a kid, you lose all those lines. So now it'll get a nice, well, this one I think we're going to weather it, but it's going to be a work truck with a company name on the side. And we'll make it a fun vehicle. It's a bigger scale though. These ones here, this is another one of the NASCAR ones. This one was pretty beat up. I had melted it in this corner, melted it right up to the gas tank like it was smashed, and the same with this corner here. I did all the body work and straightened it all out. There's a big wing that goes on the back. This is an ultra rare kit because they only made it 1 year. It's a Dick Brooks number 22 race car. Bobby Allison drove it at one time, but the Dick Brooks car makes it a collector because it was the last year of the Superbirds in the NASCAR series. They dropped the horsepower so they wouldn't have the advantage, and even with the dropped horsepower, this car almost won the Daytona 500, I think, in 1970. So the model is really rare because Dick Brooks, I think, only drove the car 1 year. This is another one that I found in a garage sale for 10 cents. It was a mess. I put the whole car in the stripper. I couldn't get the glue undone. So the stripper actually loosened the glue off, so I primered the bottom in a semi-gloss black and the body in a brown, but I finally got it apart. The door's open now. They were glued shut, so sometimes the stripper weakens the glue and you just have to trim away. These are a very, very cool model from AMT. They made them for years. They made them when I was a kid. The cover art was always different, and they'd always add different packages to them to customize it into hot rod or stock car or just basic street car. So you got lots and lots of extra parts. This is one of my favorite car models to build. I have roughly 10 of these cars in built or still sealed in box condition. I love them so much. And I posted this a while back. This is a model from way back in the 60s, an actual 60s model of a 60s car. Note the detail on the bottom floorboards, lots of lines. It's really well done. I stripped the paint off. The previous paint job sucked. And this is a rare, super rare kit because the roof is transparent. You can make it that you see the interior, or you can paint the clear plastic to make it look like a convertible top. This model kit is hard to find, and the ones you do find are up in the $200 areas. Mine is built, and I'm going to redo it. Probably in black. This is black primer right now, so it's ready to go. A couple little nicks I got to get out of the body, and I couldn't get the windshield out either on that. So we masked it up. Then we have some Star Trek models. These are my original Star Trek models from the 60s. They were well broken and stored in boxes for years. This one's been put back together, reassembled. It's going to have it's already primered, one final sanding, and it gets painted, and then these two pieces and all the attachments go back on it. The Enterprise took a really bad break, and I had lots of body work to do on it, so it's got to be primered one more time, and we'll paint both those up, and they'll be hanging in my art room like they used to do it in my house. Back over here we have one more transport to build, like everybody's been watching my other one online. This one is going mint. It's halfway through. This is a huge big scale 69 Camaro. I bought the model kit open box from a store, and it had a big break in the roof, so that's been glued, puttied. Car has to be painted. We have another Corvette to do. That's one of my old ones when I was a kid. It's all stripped, all the body's stripped, and it's primered, and just got to paint it. This is a 63 T-Bird. It was hacked. I did it when I was a kid. I wasn't happy with it, so stripped it all. We'll do that one up fun again. These are brand new models that I'd like to get to. An old 55 Ford and a couple of hot rod trucks, another Ford truck, and this mod rod. The thing about these mod rod packages, you can build two kits out of one box. So, and then we have, I'm going to move these over, this little guy over. These cars here require lots and lots of body work. This one I cut up customized. You got a lot of parts in it. You cut the roof and you can make it a bubble top. I did the bubble top and I hated it, so then I got discouraged with the model and tried some other customizing to it. So I cut the back off, was going to turn it into a 74 Vet, which was the first of the rolled back style Vets instead of this chop back, which I love, but I owned the 74 Vet at the time and like a dope wanted to make a 74 out of it. So that didn't work. So it sat in the box apart, and with the part you can tell I cut it well off with a knife, what they call a modeler's knife. And that was still in a box. I still had these parts. Figured I would have thrown them away, but I actually kept them. I had to make a pillar here, so that's glued in. So everything's glued back together and reinforced with at least 3 layers of crazy glue, so that normally holds them pretty good. So this body here, I just got to put a bit of a lip on the back, and then putty the whole thing, and that one's ready for primer. This one was my favorite Corvette model back when I was a kid. This is a Tom Daniels Corvette, and I did the same thing, tried to make it a 74. I cut this out and filled in the hood, made it all solid, and cut the back off to make it as the round back like a 74, and it didn't work. I didn't learn on this one, so I tried it again like an idiot and didn't learn that the project would be, when I was a kid, was not going to be easy. Now I do it all the time. I cut models apart. I can cut them in half and join them and make longer ones and short ones. But back then, and I didn't know what I was doing, and now I do. So anyways, I had to make, this is one of the pieces I cut off. So I actually had to build this whole bottom sill because there's a special light that goes in it. Looks like almost like an old Ford Torino light. This isn't actually the one for this car. I have one similar, but anyways, so it goes in there and it's rests on this edge. Well, that edge was gone. I cut it all off, so I made a new edge for it. 2 small pieces in here to make the corner, sanded them down, and then I put this plastic ledge in here for support. You can see it's glued in the back, won't interfere with anything, but I needed that for strength. So when I glue this on, I have 2 surfaces to basically glue things to. I'm trying to do this with one hand. So it goes like that, glues to the body, glues to that edge, and then we'll putty it, and it'll be back to normal, and then we'll give this a paint job. Some louvers go in here. It's like an inset, so I had it puttied solid so it was a smooth roof like the T-tops. So I dug all that out so it'll have the louvers back in. Like I say, it was my favorite car. I don't know why I was an idiot and wrecked it, but it would have been easier to find a 1974 model, but didn't have the internet at the time, so it's one of those deals it was hard to find things you were looking for in the toys and models. And this is another 57, which you've seen it in other videos. I am still trying to get the doors open. Slowly but surely I take some time and cut the doors. The person glued these solid, but I like them, oops, sorry about the shaky hands. I like them with the doors opening. If they come that way, unless you're making a stock car with welded doors shut, I like to have all the panels that come originally opening to function properly. So it's one of those deals. This is the Corvette chassis for this one. This is a rare Corvette USA model, very hard to find. I believe it's an MPC also. MPC was based out of Michigan, a company that built models for many years, and then models went out of favor and a lot of these companies went bankrupt. A lot of these great companies went bankrupt or got absorbed by the big model companies. So that's a scoop what we're doing. I'm down here quite a few hours during the COVID lockdown. I love doing this. I find it relaxing. Some days where I want to take a hammer to one of these models when they don't go together right. But for the most part, it's been totally fun. So people ask what I spray paint in. I think I did a video of this already. This is a spray booth. The hose goes outside in the back. I've got a bar of lights here that plugs in. I've got a big power bar that goes across here. So you just plug it in. Plug in the exhaust fan. That's a filter system. And you can mount the body on this thing. This is all modeler's equipment you can buy readily on Amazon or from any hobby store. But anyways, you take your body. Let's find a better body. I don't know if I can do it. Anyways, you put it in here, and this is spring loaded, so you can. I'm trying to do this one hand, so it probably won't go. So there you go, and that way you can spray the car any way, which way you want. It spins. It's like a lazy Susan, I guess they call it. You can spin it. This spins also if you have parts. They're all little clamps. I'm doing toolbox and engine stand and gas cans for this utility vehicle. Or not utility vehicle, but it's going to be a business van. Look at this little baby engine stand. Isn't that cute? That's just got one coat. It's got to get another coat. Sometimes I just paint stuff with a brush. Most of the stuff is done with airbrushes. I do have an arsenal of airbrushes in here. So, all different ones in here. And a couple that I don't use anymore. This is a great modeling airbrush. Pache. I don't use it anymore. Just too big and bulky. And my Binks one, I have a Binks one around here somewhere, so I'm not sure where I put it. Is it in here? Where's my Binks? Ah, there's the Binks. There we go. This is an old school Binks. This is solid brass. This is an old school type airbrush. It's basically a two-stage where you gotta press this for the air. You can regulate the air with a little thumb screw on the back here. You just move it in different ways and it'll control the airflow. This is connected to a bottle or a siphon cup that connects underneath where my thumb is. Right in here, it goes down, and this little nozzle right here is how you adjust the width and amount of paint. The absolute problem with these airbrushes is they have to siphon the paint, so you go through a lot of paint just to paint a couple little parts. So I really only use this for doing bigger models, and I do it if I'm doing a couple models in the same color. Then I'll just attach the bottle and away we go. It's a beautiful airbrush. Airbrushers used to use these back in the, I believe they go back into the 50s. These I acquired this one many years ago, and I love it. But it's not my main one. My main one for doing murals and detailing. I'm actually getting another one. This one here. So this is where you press down for air and move back for paint. So, and the paint is on top in a little cup. And I'll take this cap off. I can't. I got one less hand to do this. So you put the paint in there, and you can get really sharp, fine detail, like as sharp as a sharp pencil, actually. Unfortunately, my hands can't hold things steady anymore, but I've got a couple of devices that I use to rest my arms on that help steady them for the most part. So this is a nice old airbrush. This is an old Badger, but I love this. And like I say, there's a few others. Another one, you press, pull back. So my new airbrush, which I won't, my new airbrush, I won't tell you the price, but you'll have a heart attack. It's an Iwata, and it's kind of like the cream of the crop. Iwata airbrushes are expensive, but worth every cent. And don't buy cheap airbrushes because you can't find parts for them. That's how they get you. You think you're getting a great deal on an airbrush that's a no-name, and as soon as the gaskets, if they're a rubber or whatever, they start breaking down, then you're screwed. You can't find parts for them. So sometimes it's better on those to take the warranty that they offer, and they'll just throw the airbrush away and give you a new one. I don't say that every company does that, but for the most part, that's what I heard they do. I've had a couple cheap airbrushes and regretted it and never went back. So buy a good one, it's worth it, and you can find replacement parts like Iwata and Pache, or you can always find parts for them, even back decades. Anyways, thanks for watching. I got more stuff on the go. There's some models that I probably missed because I'm always flipping things in and out of what I do, and not everything I do is posted, so I'm just finding it fun. I do them pretty fast, so not because I want to, it's just it's so much fun for me, I just keep doing it. Anyways, thanks for watching.